If what the voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives, we'd have a very different country.
We need a political revolution.
Graham Platner was a political unknown less than a year ago. He's a military combat veteran and an oyster farmer who's vaulted to the front of Maine's Senate race, riding on a populist message. And he's done it entirely outside the party's establishment, handpicked by a group of independent activists who are promoting a new type of candidate.
I mean, we want people who didn't run for student council, right? We want people who have not been spending their entire lives planning their ascent to political power.
But a string of controversies have triggered questions over whether Platner was thoroughly vetted before entering the race. You hadn't vetted Graham Platner. You hadn't done a full scrub of who he is. How did you go about vetting him?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back. Some of what you've seen on the news we got back. Other stuff we didn't.
Did the vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts, did that turn up in the vetting process?
The firm sent us a thing and it had some of the posts, but it didn't have all of them.
And what did you think about that? How did you think your way through the fact that he had posted these things on social media?
I said none of this will or should stop him from becoming a U.S. Senator.
And what was your thinking there?
I think if what the voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives, we'd have a very different country. Part of our thesis here is that people do not want their candidates grown in vats. They want people who are real human beings, and they want people who do not look and sound like the vat-grown people who've been leading this country off a cliff for the last century. It's Graham.
Yes, I know his voice is extraordinarily annoying. That is the chief advisor, and I believe the guy running Graham Platner's campaign, or at least the chief strategist, campaign strategist, the guy that did no vetting on him, who says, gave the extraordinarily vague answer of, well, we paid a firm a big sum of money and we got some stuff back. And the stuff we got back we didn't think was a big deal. This is who he is.
What do you mean Graham Platner's consultant and campaign manager was dropped from Summer Lee's campaign over sexual misconduct complaints? This guy with vocal fry, who turns out is the heir to the Toys R Us fortune, who didn't think the allegations against Graham Platner were that big of a deal and decided to push him on the people of Maine anyway as some sort of like random stand-up oysterman, as opposed to being the rich boy from Bar Harbor Graham Platner actually is. What do you mean Dan Morphe was kicked off of Summer Lee's congressional campaign for abusing staff and thrice being accused of sexual harassment? Monty and I are shocked by these new revelations. We've got Jordan Wood coming today to the live stream at 10 a.m. He'll be on 10 to 10:30 to explain to us what the process for selecting a new Democratic candidate to beat Susan Collins looks like in the state of Maine right now, and why it should be him. Big shout out to Mike Elk at the Payday Report for uncovering the truth here. Dan Morphe running his mouth saying that he worked on Summer Lee's campaign. Yeah, he worked on her state campaign. He wasn't allowed anywhere near her historic run for Congress because he was abusive to staff, and he had 3 different women come to her and say that he had sexually harassed them or made them otherwise uncomfortable.
The higher-ups in the progressive wing of the Democratic Party really botched this one. There's a reason why people like AOC wait to endorse, right? Everybody was up her ass about endorsing. And I'm not the biggest AOC fan, but everybody was up her ass. You're going to endorse, you're going to endorse, you're going to endorse. And she waited and she waited and she waited. There's a reason why you wait. And it's stuff like this. They did absolutely no vetting. That vague answer of we gave a firm a big sum of money and blah, blah, bullshit. You did no vetting. And if you found some of this stuff that has come out and you found that there was no problem with it, then that tells us everything we need to know about you. So maybe, I don't know, stay out of politics because you fucked this race up. And now no matter who we stick in there, it's going to look bad because of what's already happened. Now, this argument, as V from Under the Desk News just alluded to, is now underway as to how Graham Platner should be replaced. I'm going to give you my 2 cents. He should be replaced by the other person that was in the race during the primary, who is the current Democratic governor of the state of Maine, who has already had a record of standing up to Donald Trump, Janet Mills. That's who it should be. That's who the nominee should have been to begin with. This guy did not come through the Democratic process, through the Democratic Party. He came through the progressive wing, completely and utterly unvetted. And we have got to do a better job, because I fear that this has now cost us this seat. We don't have a chance.